It's Tuesday, and our dear friend MBL is back in the mix tonight. Excited to talk to him about what he's been up to, some big splashes he's been making in the marketplace, as well as all the usual stuff going on within the Top Shot world. We also are blessed with NBA insider, NFL insider Jack Settleman's presence tonight, all on Club Top Shot. Let's do it. Mike, welcome back to the airwaves. Sincerely, we missed you, dude. It's good to have you back.
Thank you for welcoming me back with open arms despite my year-long absence. Great to see you guys. Great to see the chat. What's going on?
Not too much, man. Yeah, we had, we were thin last week, so we brought in Zakarian and John Boy. That was a fun show. And, one thing I remember, people tease us, we're called Club Top Shot, and we don't often talk about Top Shot. Lots of good feedback on the show last week. Not saying that Mike and John Boy aren't excellent guests. They are, but I think it was just like, oh, you guys are talking Top Shot on this show again, and people enjoyed that. And so a reminder, Mike, to get us back to our roots, and having you here is the ultimate reminder because you are still as deeply embedded within the Top Shot ecosystem as anyone.
I remain balls deep in Top Shot and very comfortably deep, I would say, enjoying the ride. But yeah, Mike and John Boy are a tough act to follow. They're a good crew. And
were you just in Israel too, you said?
I was. So this is actually a fun little update. The past month roughly was the Maccabee Games or the Maccabea Games in Israel, which is basically Jewish Olympics.
Is that how you pronounce that? We always said Maccabi.
Yeah. Okay. So there's like 60 different countries there and like 80 different ways to pronounce it. I say it like 3 different ways every time I say it. So like hopefully someone knows what I'm talking about. I don't know. We'll call it Jewish Olympics from this point going forward. And so they do have it for like older age groups. So my dad actually played tennis in the 65 to 69-year-old group, and they had 8 pools of 4 players each, and the winner of each pool advances to the knockout stage. And so he won his pool, then he won his quarterfinal match, but he lost his semifinal match and then lost the bronze medal match. So he had 2 matches, and if he won either of them, he would have won a medal, but came home empty-handed, but with memories. I went with my wife for 10 days. We left basically at the end of pool play. 10 days was plenty to be away. But my dad and mom stayed for another 10 days to finish out the tournament. But it was a pretty cool event overall. A lot of fun. And Israel is a cool place to visit.
Are you eyeing at what age? Because you're a man of many skills.
Whoa.
What? You see where I'm going?
It sounded like you were gonna say he's really old and he's eyeing like the senior division himself.
That was my question. Is like, at what point does MBL jump into the Jewish Olympics? Because I assume there's some pretty fucking good guys at your age range.
Yes, but the problem is, as I get older, they get older too. So I don't know when I escape him. What I need to do is find the year where all the good tennis players like just had kids and like don't want to do it, and plug myself in then. But I think my dad is better for his age than like I am for my age. So I don't know if it's really in play. I might have a better chance in like ping pong or something else.
There you go.
But I would try, dude. It was a really cool event. They had like a whole opening ceremony. Denny Avdija, whatever his name is, the Israeli guy who got drafted by the Wizards last year.
Yeah,
he was there. Ian Kinsler was there. All of our Jewish athletes. Sandy
Amari
mentioned several times.
What about Amari?
Amari, he's like a little suspect. He threw on his necklace with the Jewish star and
Amari is all in. I was watching a thing with him. Like he practiced. He's a better Jew than I am. I know that. That's for sure.
He did not appear at the games.
Oh, that's another one I remember. I used to have Omri on my fantasy team.
Yeah, Omri Caspi, nice mid-range
Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes.
We've got a few decent tennis players. Diego Schwartzman is out there these days. So
are you trying to claim Patrick Mahomes as part of the Jewish community now?
I mean, he's practically Jewish.
I mean, you're going to get your NFL insider card revoked so quickly if this is the kind of misinformation you're tossing around.
I get all my information from Jack these days, 100% of my information.
Thank you.
Yeah, all sports, all topics.
Yeah, what's going on with this, Jack? I mean, like, is this like the ultimate content play? You're just is your dream to be Adam Schefter? I mean, like, what's going on here?
No, because Adam Schefter didn't have Kareem Hunt's trade to the Dolphins a couple of years ago. I'm not an insider I'll clear the air. I'm not an insider. I just report what I'm told because that's my duty, is to share with the audience and with the people. My job is to evaluate the source of information, and if I feel it's a good source of information, I share it out. And sometimes my sources are wrong. Ironically, my best source of all time, I'm talking like number 2 with the Ravens, was the one who gave me Ravens-Bills Thursday Night Football, and he got duped by his own team. I don't know if they were that serious about hiding the schedule or anything. So, hey, you win some, you lose some. We've had some good sources. We've had some bad sources. What I can tell you, though, is I take this information and, I look to bet on it. So the fact that Donovan Mitchell will be a Knick, I've already placed my Knicks bet. Some of the other stuff, the Saquon news, which TBD how soon I'm announcing that. Nothing major, but
what a teaser! What a teaser!
Yeah, no, it's people are like, is he getting traded? Is he like whatever? It's like, no, it's like a little fantasy nugget that I want to bet something on it before I completely reveal. That's the thing. I'm not an insider. I'm not trying to be Shams or Woj. Someone will probably beat me to it, but I don't want that out there yet.
Not an insider, but what you're doing is perfectly describing insider trading.
This is a regulated market, right? I mean, is it illegal? Like Derek Stingley, number 3 pick. That I went before I tweeted out. I made sure that I made my way to Newark, New Jersey, and that's how I'm going to catch up to the salary of Adam Schefter's $9 million a year.
All right. Well, we will see if we can pry out some of this Saquon Barkley and his this elite piece of intel. I mean, you all caps locked elite on this one, Jack.
Sometimes the finger slips. Sometimes the news is good. I don't know.
Jack, you got to give us a way to unlock the information. Like, what do we have to achieve on the show in order to get the information?
You ship me your newly acquired LeBron moment, which will probably be the equivalent of the expected value of the piece of information, and I'll release it to the public. So it's really a question of, it's not about me anymore, Mike. It's about how much do you care about our audience? Clearly, you haven't been here in 2.5 months, so they're starting to be like, does this guy mean anything to us? And for a small price, you could potentially unlock life-changing gains.
I was supporting my dad and his athletic ventures. Very reasonable excuse. The few episodes.
Where's Andy, by the way? Is he in Europe for like a month?
They just moved there essentially because they had basically a gap between when they moved out of their apartment, but their new place that they bought wasn't ready yet. Like, I guess the timeline got moved back a couple months. So they had already, they let their lease expire. And so they're like, fuck it, let's just go live in Spain, in Italy, I think, for a couple months, which, I mean, I get extremely jealous every time he posts a beautiful photo of like Jamon Iberica from Spain. So other than that tilting me, it seems like they're living their best life.
And you see, Mike, that was great pronunciation. Something you should look at.
That's what 6 months in Andalusia will do for you. You can,
exactly.
How to
no
roll
one
those
knows the correct way to pronounce it.
Jamon.
And Jack, you just had a birthday too. You turned what, 23 years old?
I'm getting old. You know what? It's actually my Saquon Barkley year. I'm 26 years old.
You got another 2 years before going out is no longer fun.
I mean, hey, I'm definitely there already, but I still managed to go out. Yeah, I grew a year older since I saw Mike. We've sold thousands more of chicken tenders since I saw Mike.
Thousands?
Thousands.
Dollars or individual tenders?
Both.
Wow.
Both. Yeah,
you way overshot it initially, but really you were just the earliest believer. Yeah.
Yeah, I was bullish.
Yeah. Oh, and the company where I'm the head of winning for raised at $500 million. So that was
cool.
The
fact that we were able to do that in spite of you is just an incredible testament to how
that's what they
Underdog.
raised on. They were like, look at us. If we
one
can
page
do it
deck,
with
just
him.
a picture of Jack.
Yeah.
No, they used me as a negative. I mean, Pete, I'm surprised you didn't show up in your investor t-shirt tonight.
Well, I'm a little upset with Underdog. I was famously one of the first investors in the earliest round. And, I got mentioned on the first Coachella investor poster, a little low for my liking, Mark Cuban, whoever up there. But as they continue to do these articles for their future series rounds, I appeared to have gotten lost in the shuffle. They feel like they want to mention Kevin Durant and all these other guys, and they don't. It's almost like they've forgotten their roots and who believed in them earliest. In the same way, MBL believed in your attendees business. I believed in Underdog 2 years ago before anyone did, really.
Before Jack. It was cool. Before
it was cool.
It was cool before they were verified, before they tweeted out pictures of big rocks to celebrate monumental.
Wait, what is the theme here? This is a
Are you serious?
It's MBL.
Do you really not get it?
I get the rocks part, but why the postcard?
I don't know. That's a moon landing. No, the postcard. I do think Underdog prides
themselves
on there.
That's a fair question. That's a fair question.
I mean, I don't know.
Look at you two stumbling over this answer after giving me shit.
No. I don't have an answer. I'll call Jeremy. I might need to call Rudman.
Yeah. No, I mean, they pride themselves on their inventive investor announcements. They've done the Coachella poster. They had another one. I forgot. I think they're just, they're mixing it up a little bit, MBL.
They might raise a Series C just for the dopamine hit of like their new investor tweet.
Exactly. I think they get more investors, not because they need money, but just because Gamby can go into the graphic design lab and whip something cool up.
We should. All right, let's play a game. Let's make a prediction. What is the next style of their investment announcement? All right. If there ever is one, or an
scroll. I'm gonna say like classic scroll from like medieval times.
Okay.
How about what if they go like, 2022 baby announcement style, and it's something like super elaborate where someone like it's an archery guy and he shoots something and then it like comes out all orange and black. And then like Shaquille O'Neal pops out of a balloon as I don't know. I think something more performative.
Maybe a TikTok transition of like Aaron Donald investing in the Series C, lifting really heavy, and then it transitions to just Rudman lifting all the money that they raise. And
okay.
And we're giving these ideas for free.
Wow. Yeah.
Head of winning and fundraising announcements.
That's right. All right. The chat is getting restless. They were promised Top Shot talk. MBL, let's kick things off with one of the bigger purchases I've seen come across the Top Shot wire here in a while. MBL, 96,000.
No,
that's the new floor. Sorry. I would have put it past you. 23,000. My bad. The new floor is now 96,000 on this from the top Series 1.
Can we get Clay to like clip this out? You've really ruined the moment now.
Why?
Just do it again.
All right.
Mike, we know that you would buy it at 96,000 too. You love it that much.
From the top. Let's go.
Okay. So let's do some Top Shot talk like everyone was promised. And this is probably one of the biggest sales I've seen come across the Top Shot wire, and who knows how long. MBL, of course, got the from the top for $23,158. This does, of course, raise the glorious new floor, if you see what I did there, to 96,000. MBL, your thoughts on the big purchase?
First, I do want to just say, did you catch what I did with from the top before, since you're going to drop in a glorious like that? I don't know if you did.
All right. I didn't, but now I do, and I very much appreciate it.
Yes. Okay.
Shout out Jewish Leitner. Great comment. We have cornered the market here.
Yes.
Shout out RKO with the better comment.
For now. give Andy another 24 hours. We'll see.
Yeah. So tell us the thesis behind the play, MBL.
The thesis behind the play is the following. I enjoy my last mints, which are now in modern 2022 Top Shot world known as perfect mints. Yes, see, perfect cereal. They were last mint in our day, early on. They're perfect mints now. This is one that I tried to get when Glorious first bought it, actually, but he beat me to the marketplace. From a financial, we all know the moment. It's the Kobe tribute. Great moment. I have a few other numbers. I enjoy my perfect mints. Great. That's the moment itself. From a pricing standpoint, the last few trades of this have been like 65,000, like 50,000, quite a bit above this. There's been a lot of sales around this like $10,000 to $25,000 range recently. None of them really at like the caliber of this moment. So I felt like liquidity at the higher end is arriving. This is a really attractive price for it. It's a moment I've always wanted. I haven't really made a bigger buy in a while. Yeah, you can see some of these buys, and like some of them were a long time ago. But we haven't really seen them trade so far down. Look at Andy and Jack down there.
Oh, wow.
And so I felt like it was a moment I've wanted for a long time. It was an attractive price relative to where the current market is. And I said, screw it, let's do it. And went ahead and did it. And I paid $1,158 extra dollars to do it on the market.
Wow.
Yep.
Jack, are you worried that MBL is going to sell this moment to LeBron for $999,099?
Look, we have the jersey match, so that moment was obviously specifically for LeBron James. Now you have a perfect cereal, so it's a great moment. It definitely ranks within the top 3 of moments to own as it pertains to this. But we've already come to terms with LeBron on our deal, so I doubt he's in the market for a second one.
Is this going
It's
straight
fair,
into?
fair. If LeBron's going to buy one, I think he buys the one that has the little jersey next to it. That's
Yeah,
a nice
it's
little
cute.
UI
It's
touch.
cute. Yeah.
Well, also Jack is willingly, he would let a random person on the street know he's willing to sell this to LeBron. I assume for you, Mike, this just goes into the family vault under lock and key. LeBron couldn't even get it if he wanted it.
That's correct. LeBron could offer double what he's offering Jack, and I would still say no.
Wow.
So obviously, Mike, you remain bullish as ever on Top Shot. We haven't talked to you in a while. Do you have any other kind of macro market thoughts? I know a lot of various news and even roadmap type things have happened since then, but just like, where are you at? Or what is, continue to give you confidence to make purchases at this price level?
Yeah. So I guess my general overarching concept is always that I like NFTs as a concept. I like sports. I think Top Shot offers the best product itself, and I think it'll appeal to the widest mass of individuals. And I like the product myself, so I enjoy the Top Shot experience. And if I want to participate in the NFT market, that still continues to be my favorite way to do so. In terms of the actual positioning in the market, they have made a lot of interesting strides recently. So in terms of the actual functions available, they've introduced crafting, burning, locking, and they've also talked about the fact that next season's supply is going to be far more controlled, where the idea is for it to be a net neutral supply, meaning that all newly minted moments should theoretically be offset between burning, crafting, locking, and locker room packs and whatever else. And so that's an interesting concept. They've also said like next year they're going to put $40 million towards the marketing budget. They've been doing team captain things. And so there's a lot of nice
Where'd they say that?
What'd you say?
Where'd they say that? Wait, we're marketing now?
Janie said $35 to $40 million marketing budget during Series 4.
Is it Janie or Jane?
It's Janie, disappointingly, because in my head I said Jane for the first 500 times I read it. So it's really hard to make that adjustment, but it is Janie. And so I think all the mechanisms recently have stabilized the market, at least. And what seems to be happening, hopefully at least, is that a lot of moments are getting locked up. A lot of the more recent buyers aren't selling as easily. Most of the sellers, actually, if you look at especially the like $500 plus moments, are still legacy owners from like Series 1, the big initial buyers who are kind of phasing out and rotating out, and really more crypto blockchain fans than Top Shot fans. And so I think all these dynamics set us up nicely for Series 4. And so I definitely remain confident there. I think we've seen a little bit of a bump recently, which, like, I don't really care about the short-term prices, but what is nice is that finally there's some feeling of, if I don't buy this today, I might lose my opportunity to buy it, rather than if I don't buy it today, next week it's going to be cheaper to buy it. And I think just that switch is a really important one for people to gain a little bit of confidence back. And so for all those reasons, I feel good about the market. I feel good about the fact that kind of speculative mania seems to have slowed down, and people are actually maybe going to start thinking about what they want to buy and participate in, rather than what's the best flipping opportunity.
What about you, Jack? Have you given any thought to Top Shot recently?
But I was definitely pretty fed up with them, pretty frustrated, partially because everything they said was, we're building for the long term. Then they were reactionary. And now it's at the point where, like, do whatever they think is best. That's how I feel about it. It's like, if you're it's okay if your long-term plans have changed. I actually think that's okay. The vision can change. So do what you think is best, and make an honest effort to do so. It's funny because we always ask for these utility things, for new creative ways to stay engaged. And now I'm sitting there like, I don't want to do anything with my Top Shot today. I want it to be passive, but tomorrow maybe I do. Maybe I do want to get involved. So they're clearly building. I would like them to get out of beta. And I just checked all day. My moments are up one all day, which I'm curious if anyone in the chat knows anything, because I haven't been following all day. Obviously, football is on the rise. Excited to see what marketing looks like. MLB, just partnered up with So Rare to kind of do a fantasy thing. So I still have interest. I love collectibles. I want Top Shot to work. I haven't looked to sell. When is the Flow dump truck coming?
That was crazy.
Like, that's just, I don't know. Like, where are the things that they've, I guess I'm less concerned with like vision at this point. I'm more concerned with like actually coming through with stuff. I haven't tried out the bid ask function. So it's a lot of just like, meh, I kind of put it away in a bear market. And I calculated actually most of my stuff is zeros for the most part. Like, I'm not going to sell them at this price. So I think, if they keep going lower, it just kind of is what it is. But there's always the chance that it returns and becomes the behemoth.
And that's kind of what I was saying last week as like a casual observer of Top Shot, not like super obsessed, but still kind of keep your finger on the pulse a little bit, is I feel like I've just had whiplash with all the different things they're doing, where it's like, it's not that because I don't necessarily take the, like, I'm just going to collect what I love element. It's kind of like, I want to do what the site's telling me they want to do. They kind of give you hints of like what direction they want to take things. And I do just feel like your head's just been on a swivel constantly this whole time with like, where do they want to take the platform? And if you're not just collecting for the pure intrinsic enjoyment of collecting, it has been very confusing to know like the optimal way to play it from more of a, like an EV standpoint.
Yeah. So I think that's a good point. It's something that I've been trying to say for a while, where there's not much room for like a passive collector at this point, or someone who doesn't want to take 3 weeks to study and understand the various dynamics to know when they should buy something, what they should buy. And I do think they're moving closer to there being room for that kind of collector. The move to Top Shot Score helps a lot. Collector Score, the previous scoring system was convoluted and confusing, and there was kind of an optimal way to play that you had to understand, and that diverged from kind of buy what you want. Whereas Top Shot Score fits much better with a kind of just go to the marketplace, buy whatever you want, and the score will reflect kind of the value, which is what the market's perception of the moment, rather than kind of Dapper assigning arbitrary values to it. So I think that's a good step in the right direction. There's still a bit of an element of it being like a kind of a club where you have to like really tap in, once a day to keep up with what's going on. But I think that it's less and less necessary to participate in that. And yeah, but I think that's a good point though. It's like it's really hard to be passive still.
And I'm really curious to see what, not to change the conversation from Top Shot, but to see how NFL All Day handles this season, because I do think the way NFL is configured as more of like an event-based thing once a week, that they really can, if they do this right, kind of like nail the drops. If they focus on curation, if they focus on scarcity, there is versions of this where I'm excited to line up every single week to get the best play from that given week or my favorite players. And so I do think, these sites have been, they're obviously owned by Dapper, but they've been kind of iterating in different ways. And I'm just really curious to see how much NFL All Day has observed kind of what's happened with Top Shot, because they had a rough launch last year too. They had a hard hand dealt to them in that they tried to basically soft launch at the end of the season. But I'm just really, it'll be one of those things similar to Top Shot where it's like, we want to give you a long leash, but if you keep messing it up, it just kind of demoralizes us. And I'm really hoping NFL All Day can nail this, because it'll be demoralizing if it's like you had this whole offseason to learn and it's still kind of not hitting its stride in the way I think it can.
I also think that it's interesting that they've separated the products so much. I know they're at different phases of the rollout, but knowing that there's going to be at least consistency, especially if you're all under Dapper, you're on the Flow blockchain, feels like that's a missed opportunity. And maybe they come closer together at some point, and some aspects do. But I just feel like I'm playing completely different, not even games, just on completely different websites. And I think that's probably not a great sign. We're so deep into it, we would never realize. But like So Rare or Candy with MLB, like, could easily take up a ton of market share. And so for Dapper to not like align them, I think is interesting. I wonder if like now would be a great time to launch the 1 of 1s or the 1 of 3s and do something like that. I think they were pretty worried about, like, I actually don't think that doing that in a bear market would necessarily be a bad thing. I'm curious what your thoughts are on that.
So my thoughts in terms of those is to put them away for a little while. We haven't really seen that much appetite for like the super high end stuff. Like we haven't seen like a LeBron Cosmic trade in a long time,
but that's why I kind of think it would be awesome, because the whole thing right during that bull market was about how we'll never be able to own, even a LeBron base moment. And then obviously that stuff came tumbling down. But like getting this stuff in collectors' hands instead of at its absolute peak would, I think would be fun. And you could reward collectors. Like if you were the biggest Spencer Dinwiddie fan in the world, like for maybe $1,000, you could own his 1 of 1 moment, which I think would be so cool. And you have to remember, like the cards that are so rare today and the cards that are so valuable today, like at one point in time, they weren't sold at the peak of it. It was when they were rookies. And so I think doing it during the bear market would be cool. Obviously they won't, but I just thought it'd be fun.
The issue is that if like the Dinwiddie sells at $1,000, all the other Dinwiddies are coming crashing down. And we don't have, it seems at least, enough larger scale buyers to withstand that level of supply right now. And I think what I would say is that whatever they do plan on doing, I'd love clarity on it, because I think anyone who's looking at making a larger buy, there's this overhang of like, are we just going to have Genesis and Platinum Ice announced? And yeah, some people are saying it in the comments, but Janie did indicate at some point, I don't know if it's binding. Yeah, exactly. Give the Platinum Ice a Viking funeral, implying that like, maybe they're not actually going to release those.
That's that's terrible. Like that, like, don't say that. And this is what we've talked about literally since day one. It's like, make a statement about it or don't say anything. But like, we have to know. Like that's such a bad statement.
Right. So I think clarity is the most important thing. My as someone who owns moments today, so speaking from that bias standpoint, releasing those moments is bad for existing moment holders, because anyone who's a collector today probably would sell a bunch of pretty high-end stuff to try and fund this purchase. Not everyone just sitting on endless liquidity. And
is that bad though? isn't that the point? Everyone's trying to level up. So if you got to undersell yourself by a little,
it'll hurt the current market a lot. Is what I'm saying. There's not really the liquidity
current
among the
market
buyer
sucks
base.
though. The current market sucks though.
I know the current market's got some like decent momentum. Things are up like 15 to 20% over the last couple of weeks. So I think if they wait some time, like things are growing decently well organically right now. We're about to go into a new basketball season, or the startup of a new basketball season. I think if they do it now, it's going to be kind of suffocating. It's the same as when they drop legendary packs when there's not really a lot of good momentum and everyone's like, this sucks up all the liquidity. It's a similar kind of concept to that. Whereas the alternative is 5 years down the road from now, hopefully they've got some good organic growth at that point. We've got a huge collector base and the same number of Genesis and Platinum Ice moments. And that'll then be like an exciting marketing opportunity where there's lots and lots of potential buyers.
But it's what we always talked about with them being released was like at its peak, right? When stuff was trading for crazy prices, we always said like, okay, if a LeBron Cosmic sells for 200 grand, what if the LeBron 1 of 1 sells for 300 grand? Well, then that stuff's going to get slaughtered, right? It sets the market. So my argument is like, set the current market, take, the 12% dip on all these moments or 20, as opposed to like the 80% that, it kind of goes both ways.
I think if they say, and after the last game of the finals for in the 2026 season, we're going to start Genesis auctions and give you that clarity, give the user base that clarity, then you can start kind of factoring that into your current purchases. Some people may view it as, okay, we think those will only sell for X, so we're not paying anywhere near X for cosmic moments or hollow moments or whatever else. But at least it's not a surprise. If they just surprise announced it, I think that would be problematic. So I think the best thing they can do is give us clarity on when they're going to do it. I think you can make reasonable arguments for when they actually do it. Just clarity on what the plan is would be super helpful. Because there are people I've talked to who are like, I can't make a buy right now without knowing what's happening with these ultimates.
Yeah. What about Chewy's comment? Why not do a Dutch auction for the Platinum Ice like they did the VIP NFTs? And if they don't sell, then they burn them. That would be cool.
Well, they can. I mean, I don't know if the method of distribution changes my view that we just don't have the buyer base to get these moments at the price that they quote unquote should be based on where things have traded in recent market, like relative to like the moment I just bought, or someone just bought a Giannis Cosmic the other day for like 18 grand or something, and someone bought some Curry from the top for 25 grand. I think if you start rolling these out, they're going to sell for less than would quote unquote make sense relative to the current market. And so the current market would just get absolutely crushed. And then we'd kind of spiral back into exactly what I said before, where, okay, why buy something today? It's going to be lower next week. And we finally got some positive momentum. So I think,
do you think that the market would get crushed because it would reset kind of the top price for each player, or because liquidity? Like, I actually don't think there would be that many contenders for a lot of these moments. Now, there are a lot of players and there would be a lot more moments, but I don't like, if you have $1,000 portfolio, maybe you're not even worried about that. And maybe you view it as an opportunity to go up and get better moments.
I think some people will sell for liquidity to participate. That then leads to, let's call it legendary prices coming down, which typically leads to a waterfall effect of rares then trading down, because why buy a rare when there's clearly a pricing inefficiency there that.
But we've seen the hyper rare stuff come down, and it hasn't affected the bottom half of the market at times.
I just think the alternative is far more appealing. Again, picture 4 or 5 years from now. Ideally, if things go to plan, actual players are organically interested in Top Shot. You could have like LeBron bidding on his Genesis moment theoretically in like 5 years from now, the same way he like takes joy in owning physical cards. Like, it feels like the benefits of doing this are fairly limited. It's kind of like let the market absorb these things so that there isn't an overhang, but you can solve that by saying, we have a date, we're only doing this in 5 years from now. So like trade freely without worrying that we're going to drop this on you 2 weeks from now. And then they could turn it into this like huge marketing extravaganza, like literally like Madison Square Garden, huge auctions, players with paddles, whale vault with paddles, whatever else. Like, make a thing of it. You might as well. It's like a nice marketing tool, and there's like no real benefits of rushing it. In my view, I think it'll stop the momentum of the platform.
I'm laughing at this suggestion. Auction at Platinum at Christie's, just thinking of how much Christie's botched that CryptoPunks auction picture. I'm trying to think how they would have their, like, they're getting like statues or like trying to recreate the moments physically. I'm sure Christie's would find a way to misunderstand the Top Shot experience. Where are you guys at on, we talked about it last week with John Boy and Zakarian with the locking, you know, Top Shot's kind of answer to the staking mechanism that we've seen in other NFT projects.
You could say Moonbirds. We could talk about the fanny pack.
About the nesting.
Yeah.
I think floor is still around where you guys told me to sell. So I'm still hanging in there.
On ETH though. On ETH.
Oh, I only transact in ETH. I don't even use fiat for anything. I use ETH for everything in my life.
Cool.
For the record, I'm fine with that nesting reward, to be honest. They didn't like promise that they'd just hand out 5 ETH to everyone. Like, it's fine. You nest, you get some like silly little rewards, like whatever. What are you expecting? Like, it's not like
that was my take. I was like, wait, did everyone think they were going to get a $10,000 check in the mail?
Right, like,
I mean, probably
nice.
Given what the market was like.
But yes, I wanted to get your takes on the locking mechanism that Top Shot rolled out.
So I like the concept a lot, and I have a lot of positive thoughts on it. My concern is that people who shouldn't be locking moments are locking moments, and will be some combination of either regret locking it because they want to do something with it, disappointed in the rewards, or something in between. And I think, at least the way it's been presented, based on my understanding, is if you're not in like the top 750 on a leaderboard, it doesn't really help you if you're like number 751 or if you're like number like 12,000 on a leaderboard. And so you sort of need a critical mass of points for this to be something worth chasing. And by nature of the way it's set up, there's always going to be like pretty aggressive battling to like sneak into like the next tier, however they seem to define that. And so I think people right now who are buying stuff or locking stuff to get to like number 740 for that first reward are probably going to be pushed down and then feel disappointed about that. And so I'm a little bit worried about how people are approaching this. And I think also people are not fully grasping what it means to like lock your moment for 365 days. Like 365 days is a very, very long time in NFT world to, suspend your financial flexibility if you need. Sometimes shit happens. People just suddenly need to sell out of nowhere.
You can't even flow to your moments, right?
Yeah. So that I get a lot of flack for this because I'm not like all in on locking. But one of the considerations for people is you can't rent your like moment out. That is like a true way to unlock financial value on it. You can no longer do that. And so the scenario that I think will come up is there's a challenge and you have one of the 5 moments and it's locked up and you don't want to do the challenge. You can't sell it and capture the challenge premium. You can't rent it out on Floaty and capture the challenge premium. That way you're just kind of stuck with it. So either you forego your challenge premium, which is like a financial expense to you effectively, or you are forced to complete that challenge. And so you think back, why are you locking this moment to experience what we just described, that potentially negative thing? And I'm just not sure that the rewards are going to justify locking. How many people do we think, let's call it over the next year, are going to lock moments? I don't know, 50,000 people, something like that. Like if they give out, I don't know, $1,000 worth of rewards to those people, which, like, I think that's way too high, but just for argument's sake, $1,000, that's a $50 million investment. And it's not going to be a one-time thing. I assume people are expecting some level of recurring benefits for being up on these leaderboards. It's like, there's just not that much money available to give out to this many people in the ecosystem right now. So I don't know what people are expecting in terms of rewards, but I'm very, very worried people are going to say, I locked up $30,000 of moments and got $9 worth of rewards, similar to the Moonbird situation. It's like, kind of don't expect too much.
That was uncalled for.
I'm saying in the same way with Moonbirds, don't like.
You think that fanny pack's only worth $9? That was uncalled for.
Oh no, that's not.
That reminds me. I need to claim my fanny pack.
Please do claim it. Yes. I want to see.
Wait, real quick, because I saw Dingaling did it. I know you've locked it. The TLDR on it, based on my 2 seconds of reading, is you lock your moments for a year based on what? Collector
Top shot score. You get a benefit based on top shot score. Yeah.
Top on that moment, and if you're in the top 750 by the start of the season, you get a moment or something.
That's the first reward. There's going to be several rewards, and there's going to be like pop-up rewards. They haven't really gone into much detail on it.
Gotcha. And so, hold on, one last question. Is it based on the? Okay, so I guess it's based on the team from the moment. Like if someone gets traded or is a free agent, it's really just
from the moment. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
So the one thing I was going to say, Mike, is I certainly see your perspective from where people who have unrealistic expectations for what the locking could bring could result in some bad stuff. Hopefully people just aren't idiots, right? Like I think we said last week, like I would basically only feel comfortable locking something up that for an absolute fact you don't want to touch or move in any way possible. I would hope that's how people are approaching it. I understand that there's definitely going to be people who are mad, but my bigger point was if people are even thinking about the opportunity cost of what they could be missing out with on their moments, that means we're in a pretty healthy spot, right? Where they're like, oh, there's other things I could do with it on floaty, or there's rewards, or there's selling opportunities. Like to me, that's like almost like a good thing, because right now I view my collection more just as a pure collection, and I'm not participating in the challenges. I'm not doing any. So I have no problem locking up my 100 Fred VanVleets because I know I'm not going to touch them. But to me, that's like kind of a good thing. If you have someone in their head being like, I might miss out on an opportunity by locking it, it feels like that's good for the overall eco.
So I
what's the Knicks number to lead?
I don't actually know. I gotta look.
Where are you at?
On the Lakers. I have all LeBron moments. I don't have like that many Knicks moments.
So all right, that's actually a really interesting point. Ties to the blog post and ties to the consigliere question at the bottom there. You say you're locking the moments you have. In the blog post, it says 93% of moments have nothing to do with the favorite team or something. Like, that's interesting to me. I would like to show my team leadership. You're doing it based on convenience. You also may be an outlier, but it also sounds like some other people, they're not just collecting their team. So do you think the intent, what is the intent? And then I guess my answer to what passive rewards would interest a collector like you, signed jersey, so actually similar things. I'm a season ticket holder, and the stuff that I get emailed actually does interest me. It's Zooms with former players, upgraded tickets once in a while, a gift bag once in a while, invites to buy tickets at face value to concerts at MSG, like different stuff like that. So that's the answer for me.
Yes. So in answer to your question, kind of what do I think they were aiming to do here? I think it's essentially tap into like everyone's competitive juices. There's a comment here. I love the game of trying to get into the top 750 on multiple teams. And ultimately the game here is not who's the biggest Knicks fan or Lakers fan. It's who has the most valuable collection from these teams, regardless of what your fandom is. And I think a lot of people took this initially as a test for how big of a fan you are of a specific team. But at the end of the day, they're measuring it based on who has more valuable Top Shot moments for that team. And so I don't think it's like purely a team fandom thing, even if that was their intent. But I think it's a nice mechanism, a nice tool for the market. I think there are some cases where locking makes sense. I think more people will lock than logically should lock. But at the end of the day, if any people decide to take moments out of the supply for 365 days, by nature, that reduces the available supply, which should theoretically help pricing, which should help the momentum we're talking about. And so I think it's a really, really nice tool. I think just to round out my concern with it is that I think what you said before is you should lock only moments that you would like really, really never sell and never even want to take off to get whatever passive income to interact with a game that's not yet built. Like, who knows what's coming? But if you're only going to lock those, you're not really going to get anywhere on most leaderboards. So it's a little bit kind of like, unless you're like a massive, massive account, at that, if you have, if your grail moment of like a Steph Curry Top Shot debut, let's say, and that's really the only thing in your collection you're not selling, if you lock that up, it doesn't really do anything for you. And so it's this kind of paradox where you probably have to lock more than what fits a normal and smart locking criteria in order to benefit from any locking.
I'm also an outlier because I've literally 95% of my FEV collection have been sent to me by Club Top Shot viewers and Top Shot community members. And I famously told everyone they're going into a vault. They're literally forever. Nothing will ever happen to them. So this locking mechanism was my perfect way to show the people that I'm true to my word and I have locked up every one of my. But I know what you mean. From a bigger thing.
Where do you find
use cases? There's practical use cases. I just worry some people are going to get caught in the middle, like expecting things and being disappointed. But I think it'll be a net positive because even the disappointed people will hopefully be greeted with a market that's done really well, partially because of locking.
And I will say, Mike, too, just for me, because that same kind of thing of like hoping and wishing, that's what got me to complete the Celtics and Nuggets team sets from Series 1 and Series 2, because I was like, all right, I like the Nuggets. I live here in Boston. Maybe there'll be some perks, like local IRL perks that might, and then like nothing ever really materialized with that. So I would just say, like, even with locking, my personal expectations are so low that anything will like clear the bar and like pleasantly surprise me. I don't know if that's a reflection of how most people think about it, but I almost have like zero expectations at this point with any of us.
Is there a site that you can calculate like how to get to number one or whatever into the top 750, or any of them doing that?
I don't know. So right now the interface for locking is really not great. Like, you can't sort your collection by highest Top Shot score. So if you want to like sort by Knicks, you can't then within Knicks sort by highest Top Shot score. And so
wow,
it's a bit of a pain right now. From what I understand, it's not a massive rush to lock unless you really want it to be unlocked by end of July 2023, and that the first rewards won't go out till October. I wouldn't be shocked if they do some like surprise thing.
Yeah.
Is Dingling the number one on every single leaderboard?
Not every. I don't think he would be able to be number one on every single leaderboard, but not number one. I think he said 26 of 30. I don't know if he still is. That was like very early on.
Well, MBL 7,383,000, eighth on the Bucks. Nice.
I was going to say, though, that one thing MBL mentioned, I think is a big driver with a lot of this locking and staking and nesting stuff, is that concept of FOMO. What if they do a surprise thing that I miss out on? Like, and that really gets people to wanting to think that through of like, oh my God, I can't undo this, or I should have locked these moments up. I think that is kind of one of the secret drivers to what makes this work.
Yeah,
devil's advocate.
I think it will work for sure. I think it's great for the market. I just think some people are going to regret locking.
Yeah.
Devil's advocate. As we know, I'm the worst trader and insider, but not the worst insider trader.
Great basketball player, horrible shooter. We know.
Yes. What happens if during the NBA season there's a little bump and you're like, oh, I'll sell this in the nice little bull run here, 15% gain, boatload of flow token on my face, and then but really in a year the market's up 300%. Ish Smith MGLEs are back to $4,000 a pop, and thanks to locking you out traded yourself. How about that?
Well, that goes back to oversets like criteria. Like, what do you actually want to lock? Like things that you wouldn't sell even if that happened. And it's hard to put yourself in those shoes because like you feel different. And I don't know, that's part of the you are giving something up by locking it. Like you can't picture it now, but like things can happen. Like, there's also the possibility of who knows what third-party platforms come along. Let's say there's a really, really cool fantasy game, but you need to withdraw the moments to a third-party platform to actually interact with it. You can't do that. Let's say there's some like crazy thing that's a third-party thing that the Warriors team built that if you lock up certain moments on their third-party site, you get access to crazy, crazy benefits. So that even if you're a Warriors fan and you love your Curry Top Shot debut, it would have been better locked there. Like, you just don't know what you're foregoing. And the obvious counter to this is you don't know what you're foregoing by not locking, but I think the financial flexibility is really important as well.
The other thing, though, to that point where you're saying, like, say those things do come out, whether it's, a bull run, whether it's some game, whether it's some new site that taps into utility in a really cool way, like Top Shot will feel the competition with the locking rewards in that regard, right? Like, if there's no competition right now, it's kind of easy to be like, yeah, well, we don't have to give you that much. You're locking them regardless. But if people start getting like, oh, the opportunity cost of what I could be doing with it, Top Shot might have to up the stakes to make it worth people's while a little bit more.
It's so many people who are locked. Someone said 1 million moments are locked. Like, I don't know how many people that means of locked moments, but like, and you've got a line of assuming Top Shot grows and more people lock moments. Suddenly you've got 100,000 people clamoring for rewards, and every time you give that group of people $10, it's like you're literally handing out $1 million. Like, what?
Yeah.
Well, you can give them 1 million moments.
Yeah, but there's a cost to moments also. Dilutes the marketplace. It forgoes the opportunity to sell those moments.
Look, at the end of the day, Top Shot has never once given out Go rewards. So if we're being honest with ourselves,
except the 9 Lives Lounge, Jack, and I think 2 of us here have experienced those rewards. I don't know about 3 of us.
No, not me. I'm not in there.
Wait, I thought you had the infinite objects from 9 Lives Lounge.
I have infinite of IQ, which is going to be so sad when he gets traded. It's like, it's fucking bullshit. But...
Yeah, talk about how quickly things change in a year. Jack, what's put his entire retirement.
Did you throw quickly in there intentionally or not?
Yeah, that was pun intended for sure.
Was it? I don't know.
Yeah. So ironically, my highest serial besides IQ, because IQ was the first number 1 I ever bought, is Donovan Mitchell. I have number 2 of him in his hollow. So doesn't mean much, but he's going to be in there. And
what should we read into that?
No, that I did about 18 months ago. So it'll make it okay, and I'll get his new moment when it comes out in the Knicks jersey. But I'm going to be really sad when IQ goes. Grimes, good player. I could care less.
I like Grimes.
Obi, a good player. I could care less is kind of my take on him. Obi, I think there's something there, but for Mitchell, I'm all in on it. The just annoying part with the Obi thing is like he's the New York kid, along with Mitchell. So it's funny that they'll play up this story about Mitchell coming home. Meanwhile, they'll ship out the kid they drafted 2 years ago to be the new face of New York. And then IQ, I think is going to be a good player, not necessarily a superstar, but it'll be sad to see him go.
Nothing but the first round picks.
The first, so this is the situation. Leon's trying to do like 4 firsts, 4 firsts, 2 of them the other team's first, and 2 of the guys. Ainge wants 6 firsts, 3 of the Knicks, and all 3 of the young guys. They'll meet somewhere in the middle. I think there's no urgency on the Knicks because no one can come even close to the Knicks offer. But the urgency is you want to get them in training camp. You want to know what team you're rolling out with. In the flip, which is then like a month earlier than the Jazz deadline, but the Jazz can't start the season with Mitchell. So hopefully in the next couple of weeks, it'll be figured out.
All right. Similar note here. I agreed with your takes on the Celtics getting KD.
Oh, yeah. Let's talk about that.
I'm shocked at the Celtics fans rejecting that concept. Like this is not a championship winning roster, even with Brogdon, I guess. People are excited about that. I just think exactly what you said. They don't get through the Bucks unless Middleton gets hurt. The 76ers were in disarray. The Nets were in – well, I guess the Nets go away if they get KD. But, the Heat are potentially reloading. It's just like, the Celtics, like, if you get KD, you probably move to favorites for the championship next year. If you don't, you're probably like, I don't know, top 5 in the favorites, but not number 1.
Well, so ironically to that statement, they are the title favorites.
Are they right now?
Yeah, they're the title favorites at the moment. And even they shouldn't be. I say it is like I'd rather have a higher chance at winning a championship in the next 2 years than a higher chance at being in contention over 5 years. They're definitely not minus 500 to win the title. They are plus 500. But we know that that's not necessarily a lock by any means. If Durant stays, that'll move. If he goes to Phoenix, they'll become the title favorites. And Rudman, who I love, had just an all-time comment. One that was so good that I had to laugh and respect it. But he pretty much was like, when you've won all these titles in Boston over the past 2 decades, like you just want one that's homegrown. I hear you, but then I talked to Matt Kalish today, DraftKings founder, who's obviously a huge Celtics fan, and he's actually just a Celtics fan. And so it was unique to hear from him. Rudman obviously comes from a football plus basketball. The Celtics have won one singular title in the past 36 years. So it's not like they can just sit around here and act like they're winning titles year in, year out. It's Kevin fucking Durant. Like the narrative on Boston Twitter has become it's this old, aging, injured player. He played the last 55 games of the season and averaged 37 and 6. And like that makes you a title contender, a title favorite off the bat. And last thing I'll say is this. I do think there is merit. A homegrown championship is more fun than hiring the paid mercenary. I get that. But the window everyone keeps talking about, they're going to have Tatum and Brown over the next decade. Like that shit doesn't happen. Brown's been in trade rumors for the past 3 years. His contract's up in 3 years. Like he's gone. He's going to want to be the star of his own team, not Jason Tatum's, 1B. So and everyone always says the Knicks fans, yeah, because we've been fucking miserable. So no shit, we kind of understand what it means to go and do anything for a championship. That's why I'll trade the entire future for Donovan Mitchell to get us to the playoffs. So that's my rant.
Do you know though, partly, I feel like saying you want a homegrown championship is a little bit of PR spin zone because it's really digging up all the tweets over the years of bashing the Heat and LeBron and all of the super teams
and
because
the Celtics the Celtics.
Right. I mean, yeah, the Celtics did it too with Ray Allen and Kevin Garnett, but it was like it seemed like that's almost in the rearview mirror enough that then they piled on LeBron and those guys, and now they want to do it the pure way.
Well,
again.
so I did actually learn. Because in my tweet, I wrote Celtics fans have won one title in 36 years, yet they don't want Kevin Durant. Meanwhile, their one title came from a super team. I didn't know this because I always thought that Celtics team is kind of the first super team. They like to distinctify. What would the word? Distinguish. That the Celtics were not a super team because they had to give up assets. Super teams are formed in free agency, which I think is a fair point. Well, you got to give up assets for Kevin Durant. So don't call yourself a super team and enjoy the fucking title, you snobs. That's my take.
I would say ask the Raptors fans what it's like to buy a title. They love that Kawhi title. They had a great time with that.
They traded their fan favorite. And people, there was another dumbass tweet that said, yeah, ask the Lakers fans if right now they would not rather have Lonzo and Brandon Ingram, and they didn't really enjoy the 2020 title. That's a franchise that won 17 rings, and they enjoyed the shit out of that one too. These are championships. People have made it like so far not about winning that I'm like, what the hell are you people talking about? Go and do everything to win a championship. The Bucks did it, and the Suns, who had never been to a championship, were up 2-0, and Giannis almost had COVID and was going to be out for the whole series. You think if Giannis had COVID, that half of Phoenix would have been like, damn, like let's pause the series, let him back. No one gives a damn. Just win the ring and then let people fight over the quality of that ring. You can enjoy the parade.
I agree. And my last comment is, I think Jaylen Brown's like good, not like fucking unreal. Like, why does no one want to give up Jaylen Brown? He's cool.
Jaylen Brown is spectacular. He's an elite scorer. He's a young player. He's a really good defender. If he stopped turning the ball over, got a better handle, his potential's through the roof. In no situation ever in the history of the world will he ever be as good as Kevin Durant. Ever.
No
like, there's no. So in that case, like, give up Marcus Smart. He's a good player. I know he's the heart of the team. He's Marcus Smart.
Yeah.
Like, this is Kevin Durant.
Well, I also think too, like, I mean, so much of building a super team now. I mean, for a while, it did seem like there were stuff with the markets, like obviously playing in Los Angeles, a major market, stud players. Like, it was almost like too easy. It's like, of course, everyone wants to go there. I mean, not that Celtics aren't like a major market, but so much of across NFL, NBA is team building. What can the owners and the GMs like pull off? Can you make the salary cap work? Can you actually attract a free agent? To me, that should be like celebrated. Like, if you can land Kevin Durant, like that's an incredible part. Like, that's not cheating. That was like, you positioned yourself to be able to pull that off and improve your team. Like, I don't think Celtics should feel disgusted by that, even if it means shipping off a player. It's like, you are here to win a fucking championship. Do everything at all costs to do that.
They say that the NBA is a business. All pro sports are a business. Like, treat it as a business. Companies raise capital and deploy that capital. You have raised capital, quite literally, have grown Jaylen Brown to become a valuable asset. Now flip him for what many call the greatest scorer in NBA history. Like, it's not that complicated. The deal's not happening. He's not going to Boston. I don't actually think that they're going to make a real offer for him. But like, to see how Celtics fans, how quickly like each one of the fans would hold on and like act like they're pissed, and like if Donovan, look, I don't want to trade all my guys for Donovan Mitchell. I want Mitchell. The second that Woj or Shams or Jack sends that tweet, like, I don't give a fuck about any of them. Like, we have Donovan Mitchell, so I know the same would be that in Boston, but that would be fun because Celtics Twitter is one of the best like Twitters if you've ever been down that rabbit hole.
Yeah. And I get it from like a pure, I don't interact with sports on this level anymore, but where you get to feel like invested, where you actually like the players you're rooting for, that is a special feeling. But it's also like, what's more special than getting to hang another banner up there? Every time I go to the Garden too, I'm like, was it really just that one championship in the past however many years? When I look up there, it always takes me back because it feels like they've been in the mix so much.
Yeah, and they have. And I think if there's any more that needs to be said in this conversation is the fact that they've played in 5 conference finals in the last 7 years or whatever it is, and they haven't won a title. So if this is the tiny upgrade that gets them over the hump, like, what else, what better opportunity? And the offer they're looking for, like, isn't that crazy? If it really is just Brown, Smart, and 2 firsts, I think it's
crazy.
They're saying, like, to get him originally, it was going to be like 8 firsts, Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson, like every young player for the Suns. And now you're giving up like a star. I mean, he should have been, but he wasn't even an all-star this year. Like, let's put things in perspective.
Colin wants to know if MBL can top the Cool Cats pack rip from last week tonight. I mean, MBL, if we are you able to close down this show with a sick pack opening? What are you sitting on these days?
Let me see what I got. I ripped open a bunch the other day.
Really? In a private moment in your office? You just needed the itch?
I did.
I love it. I love how sheepish you are about that. You're like, yeah, close the blinds.
There was some challenge, and I needed like one moment. I was like, I'm not fucking buying this. It's got to be in one of these packs.
And narrator, was it in one of the packs?
No.
Did you at least get to enjoy? How many did you rip by yourself? I'm now fascinated by this.
I think there's a way to see opened packs now.
Hang on, I have more questions. Did you do reveal all, or did you let it play out?
Okay, so I didn't do any revealed alls, but I did do a bunch of the like click, 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 then like let those 3 load, then like click, click. I did like partial reveal alls. I felt bad doing reveal all. I was like, Rohan would be disappointed. Okay, I'm looking now. I have a with the strip. That's from Series 1. We can't do that, I don't think. I could do a run it back 2005, 2006. That's kind of fun.
That sounds fun. All right, let's cue the music. Let's do this.
Run it back.
Yo, what up? It's DJ Pete Overzet. Welcome to the club. We didn't think things were gonna get popping tonight, but it's about to get lit. Behind door number 2, it's a 3-pointer. 13-25, Kevin Durant. We're going to get a LaMelo. We're going to get a Luka. We're going to get a LeBron. Click the reveal. Let's go. God damn it. I don't need another layup. To the window. To the wall. The De'Aaron Fox stripped down my ball. 293 assists. Everybody get their drinks. Let's get a cheers tonight before we open up these 9 packs.
Cheers. I know people have mentioned it before, but for the first time, I just watched Jeremy's box during that whole thing, and it's just absolutely hilarious. It's like he's like doing an email. At one point, he's like he nods at one point, and then the final scene, he's just not even there.
He's raising money for Underdog fans.
Yeah, I guess
he's designing the fundraising announcement.
Yeah. Here's before we do the pack here. Here's a good question, and I think I know Jack's answer. Would you give up a RJ package for KD?
Yes, and
100%.
This is my hot take. Is my ideal trade for Donovan Mitchell is actually RJ and 2 firsts. That is, I much prefer that over 5 firsts and 3 young players because I think you're trading for the sure thing, and you're gonna have to sign RJ next year to a max contract. So that's my hot take. It's not really in discussion. More importantly, would Jack give KD his cosmic LeBron if it brought him to MSG?
Ooh.
So the cosmic LeBron isn't the moment that LeBron already owns. It's the one that I'm still in ownership of, which I throw that in a package deal for LeBron when he makes the big buy. It's like a thank you. Would I give it to KD to bring him to MSG?
I mean, Jack, as a pure content play, you absolutely would have.
Yeah, that would be an expensive content play. But hey, I've made the $1,000 bet I placed on the Knicks to win the title for like a few likes was an expensive content play as well. Although my cash out option is up 12%. So haters will hate, and we'll be down to 50-1 when we get Mitchell and Russell Westbrook.
No, I would love to see that too, because then you would have to go back to the people who invested in that moment with you. You'd have to come up with a valuation to pay them out. And then you would have to go do your content play, but you would have to negotiate it that it involved like you in person, like transferring the moment to him and a photo shoot, the cutting of a ribbon.
I've met KD. I've met KD at this point in his career. He's not taking the Knicks to a title, so I wouldn't do it. But if you're Boston, wake up, Brad Stevens, make the trade.
I just want to get out in front of this and say, Redmond, if I had any takes about your beloved Celtics that piss you off, I'm sorry. Don't break me in half.
Holy shit. 47 million Top Shot score. You're insane, Mike.
All right.
Okay.
I love this. All right. What are we ripping? The running back?
I don't really want to rip this. It's a series one. The other ones are base packs.
Let's warm up with a base pack.
Okay. Which one?
I don't know. Dealer's choice.
This?
Looks good to me.
Okay. That's so annoying.
Did you click the wrong thing? Yeah.
You gotta click open.
Bethany did that last week.
Click this.
Wait, can we not?
Page.
Can we not sell packs yet?
No.
Beta.
That's weird. Before you open this and before we leave, can someone, if anyone watching has been playing on all day, I would love to learn. And slide into the DMs. Oh, we also didn't talk about this weekend is the National Sports Card Convention, which I don't think Top Shot will have a presence at, but I'll be there if anyone else is going to be there.
Is that the one in Texas?
No, it's in Atlantic City this year. So
right.
Is it this coming weekend?
Yeah, come through.
Interesting. I was supposed to be away from the weekend, but I also might have COVID, so I'm probably not going away for the weekend. But maybe I'll go to the card show with maybe COVID.
Interesting.
What a sell! What a sell for the attendees. Come get COVID with MBL.
It's obviously a little bit more complicated than that. I will know by the weekend if I have COVID and my weekend plans no longer exist because my sister has COVID, who was supposed to be where I was going to, and she's probably still going to the house, and so I'm not going to. But I also completely separately might have COVID.
Got it. Okay, so if you don't have COVID, come through for. I mean, at least for.
All right.
I'd love to see some Jack and MBL at a physical card show content.
Yeah, look at this.
That would be good. Wow, you have them ready to go.
What do we got here? A Larry Bird and
why do you have those in front of you? Oh my god, that is the most random shit I've ever seen. I saw someone say, "Oh, Steady Breaks should be there." That's fun.
Nice.
Oh, I'm giving away self-plug. I'm giving away $1,000 on Whatnot. So free giveaway. Won't be too many people in there at Jack Settlement on Whatnot. It's a live sports card breaking app. Completely free to enter. So yeah, there's a lot of good stuff. I'm trying to pick up my like go-to big Lamar card before football season. So that's my answer.
So I know this is like a boomer question, but when you say picking up your favorite Lamar card, are you able to get a bigger or a better deal than you would online? Is there actual inventory that wouldn't be available? I'm just trying to figure out the actual utility of it.
So picking up, just to be clear, does not mean like I've pre-ordered it. Like that's what I want to buy. Big Lamar card, meaning the National Sports Card Convention is unique because not everyone, but most people go. So you'll actually see more cards than you would normally see at a smaller show or online. But the people there are funny. Like in person, they're a lot more stingy. And even more annoying is sports card people and this is probably most general people with assets, but like if they bought the card for $1,000, even though sports cards are down 80%, they're like, oh, sorry, I can't sell that. Like I would lose money on it. Like that's not how it works. So yeah, I'm going to try and buy the NT True RPI, Zach. I've seen a bunch of them online, but I want to kind of go through all the different ones. For those in the Top Shot world, that would be like kind of like a cosmic Lamar. And yeah, Bagged Wine said no eBay fees. That's part of it. Everyone pays in cash. So you're theoretically supposed to save
no taxes.
10-12% on each side, sometimes even 20% just off the comp. So I'll let you guys know if I pick up a Lamar.
Do you ever try to do any influencer haggling? Hey, I'll throw your booth on my Snapchat feed if you give me 50% off of this Lamar.
I don't, but there are definitely people who do that. Which on a high end card, I don't think anyone gives a fuck. If you're spending $200, maybe someone's like, yeah, for $150 if you throw me a share. But yeah, I'm excited. It's gonna be fun.
Are you gonna see the guy who went after you on Instagram?
Yeah, he'll be there. Pat,
you guys
Pat
gonna
Ryan.
carry the hatchet?
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Well, no, I'm gonna show him that I'm still talking about NFTs and chicken tenders, and that I'm that I can do more than one thing at the same time. There's no bad blood between us, at least on my end. I just couldn't.
Before we go to the pack, can we bring up Josh Fencer's comment about my terrible fantasy baseball team?
Yeah, of course.
Josh, are you still watching? If so, what year was that?
I'm surprised you.
I have the trophy bat ready.
Here we go.
Oh my year.
So let's see what he's got. Come on, Josh.
He's got Jordan Alvarez base rookie cards and a fantasy baseball trophy.
Never argue online with a man who's willing to sling a baseball bat over his shoulder right here. It's very threatening.
You won last year? Wait, yeah. Daryl Henderson's in your league? Wow.
2018. Wow. Okay. This is a bit of a wow. 2016. Okay. Yeah. Fencer walked right into this one. Why are you trying to dunk on the 9-time champ of this league? Now he's backtracking. AC may be the worst place on earth. I don't remember much. Okay. All right. We're going to do a warm-up pack here, and then we're going to do a walk-off Reddit backpack. Get the juices flowing. Oh, you got to unmute this top left.
You have to actively unmute it now?
Yeah, welcome. Some of us have been involved in Top Shot all this time and didn't just disappear for a while, Mike. We know how this works.
Fair enough. Marcus Morris. Is this the one that got crushed by Jokic?
No, that's Markeith.
Markeith?
This is Mook Morris, who the Knicks traded for a first-round pick and drafted Emmanuel quickly.
Is THT like what? Did he have a good season? I just remember a year ago he was super hyped up.
Yeah,
No?
a year ago he was untouchable. Now no one cares about him.
Wow. 2 Marcus Morris.
There we go.
Let's go. Is this the one
who got
with
his ass
Jokic?
kicked by Jokic?
Damn, that's harsh from Ricky. Mook's
Remember
pretty
when
good.
like early Top Shot days when like every commentary would be like, would it be so cool if they had a moment of like Jokic and the Morris brothers fighting? Like that was just like every just non-cool basketball moment. We just wanted to be a moment that would never happen.
Everyone wanted a Shaq and a Fool set for a while. That was like a huge comment everyone would make under every tweet for like 6 months.
Yeah.
Derek with an elite comment. I agree. Are we really ripping a run it back? But this isn't the original run it back, right? Or is it?
No, this is the second one. I think it's from 2021 summer, but it's the one with Shaq, AI, and Wade's Top Shot debut.
All right, let's do it.
All right.
Those are the ones we're rooting for here. There's some other cool ones. Nash's debut is in here.
Is Iverson in here?
Yeah.
Okay.
If we're doing a walk-off pack here, MBL, let me say it was great having you back in the streets. We know you're busy. You have an open invite anytime you want to swing by and hang with us.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure to be back on. I'll be on more often, hopefully. But yeah, shit's busy. But I appreciate you guys having me back on.
We really missed you at
I want to spend a little more time in the future, maybe in the group chat, hearing about the Tendies update. We didn't get that much of a Tendies update.
Yeah, we crossed.
That was my favorite part about catching up.
We big milestone. We crossed 6 figures in GMV, so very exciting. And currently working on an NIL deal with some high-profile college athletes. So
did you say 9 Lives Lounge deal? Jack, can I invest in Snapchat chicken so when you guys hit a $500 million evaluation, I can feel just as good as I did today with Underdogs?
Yeah, we can talk.
I want like whatever is the smallest equity stake I could have. I just want to have a seat at the proverbial table. And
wait, I think we're live in
Boston.
Yeah, check it right now on like Uber Eats or something.
Hang on. So how would I check on Uber Eats? What do I search?
Just search Snapback, one word, kitchen.
Okay. Let's see here.
When are my free Tendies coming?
How far are you from the city?
I'm 30-minute drive, no traffic.
No, Pete, how far are you?
Hang on.
Because the location's probably in the city. Mike, are you in Westchester?
Uh-huh.
I think we might have gone live there. All right, here's the moment of truth. I think we're going to be out of range.
Snapback Kitchen, Beacon Hill. Oh, wow. Wow. Look at this.
Oh,
Incredible.
see, yeah, delivery's too far. But only a 9-mile drive.
All right.
You got to do a pickup, Pete.
And it's a content play.
Well, once I'm officially an investor, I'll be driving over there every day to pump my bags. All right.
All
right, we doing it? We good to go?
We are. How many moments are in this pack? Walk off.
All right, let's go. We want the AI, the Shaq, or the Wade. This is good.
The AI. I don't remember the Run It Back music.
Do you remember a lot of the other pack music?
point guard.
Don't try to take Lillard away from the Blazers.
The weirdest face. It's so weird. The Dame face. What door? 2, 3, or 5?
2.
Granger, a stud in video games. The grainy footage.
That's the moment.
Good footwork, Jack. Give it to him.
Rookie.
Okay. Is that really the best play of his rookie career?
Seems like the music gets louder every time it loops.
I thought that was a cool moment.
A Dame again.
2 Dames.
All right, here we go.
The moment of truth.
Walk off.
Walk off. Thank you guys for hanging tonight. Dallas Mavericks. Rare. 291.
Oh,
Gary
snap.
Stackhouse.